When I got pregnant, at time of delivering, the baby failed to come out. So they just pushed the baby out by force. You know, in the bush, there's even no hospital. There's nowhere you can be operated. So it's like maybe it was all about because I was young. The baby failed to come out, and it's like because they've been pushing the baby out just by force. I got my bladder got burst, but I stayed for like 2 days without feeling any urine coming out. But then after 2 days, the urine I started leaking.
Nafuna utanga n'emyaka 17. Kati nafuna utanga n'emyaka 17. Kale batuka myezi 8 nalutandika okubundula amazzi. Nalumulwa amazzi banga lya myezi 2 ne luyitako n'okuyitako. Ndoza myezi 10 n'ekitundu. Kati saba ikyatuuka omwana omuto yamuziika ne bajja ne basaba obugoye ne bamuzitunda ne baziika omwana.
Kati saasobola kugenda mu ddwaliro okuba lyali wala ne ngenda okumpi omusawo omuzaalisa Omuganda. Kati ekizibu kwe kyava bwe natuuka ne ntandika pushing sindika. Kati mu kusindika ennyo omwana awuke yali munene tasobola ndoza kuyitawo. Saamanya kizibu nnyo kyali awo kusindika mwana kuba asooka ye namuzaala bulungi. Kati okufulumya omwana nga mufu afudde. Namalawo wiiki nagenda okulaba nga gutandika okutonnya mpola mpola.
Fistula is a condition in which a lady following a very difficult labour and delivery, she suffers from a hole in her vagina, between the bladder and vagina, leaking urine all the time, and between the bladder and a rectum, which should be leaking stool. Not every case gets the double fistula, but the commonest one is urine. And this happens in Uganda now very, very frequently. Many young girls and young women who are of small build, or who are not physically mature enough to have babies, as for instance with early marriage or with early rape in the early teens, when girls are only starting in their procreative. Urine comes out and flows down her legs. She's always wet, and then her clothes are wet, smelly because there's urine on them. She tries to hide it. She's very uncomfortable and she gets very sore, but she cannot take part in any of the normal social activities, and she cannot mix around. She can't travel in the taxis or in the buses. So even her husband leaves her because of her smell and her condition, And very often she goes back to her mother, who has to build a little house lean-to for her so that she lives alone. These women are ostracized because of their condition, and they lose all their dignity. So it is a very big problem.
I could not even sit, because even just standing like this, the moment I stand, you find hole where I've stood wet. So I could not even stand, I could not go anywhere. I just keep seated. And I was like, what should I do really to get... I was not even feeling like living in this world anymore. I feel like I should just do anything to my life and just leave the world. Because the suffering, I've never suffered in my life. And secondly, they have ruined my future, and together with my studies, I was really not happy about it.
Nze yali yantama sijja kulimba. Newulira bubi nga ndi awo kwali kugamba nga ndi Katonda gwatafiirako ddala. Ngensinze nga newenda omuntu asanyuka ali awo azina ngamba yo bazina bishebe. Nga mpulira bubi ngensi yantama kwegamba. Nga nsimanyi ndindamu n'okutambulako ne bannange ngaawo. Nembeerako mu bannange ngaawo netukuba olwali nga nze sikimanyi kale mu mutima gwange. Awo nabeera n'ekizibu nga sikola. Nga mbeera waka wabula busente bwe nali ndeseewo nga bwe ndyako mpola bwe nkozesaako mpola. Bwente naye nga nkolewa ku kizibu ekyo ekyali eky'amaanyi. Nga buli lwobeera olina okukyusa engoye, buli lwobeera olina okwoza, buli lwobeera oyambalamu katono nga bw'entambula ne ntuuka ngaawo we mbasanze nga nkomawo nkyusa ngoye nteekayo ndala nga nnyambala ndala. Nga sina mulimu gwe nnyinza kukola, nga tewalina mulimu gw'oyinza kukola.
We here in Kitovu are trying to do something about this. We're training local doctors and training teams, nurses and anaesthetists, but the problem is ongoing. Every day there are new cases of fistula. Why is this? Because of the traditions and culture of going to traditional birth attendants, or not attending antenatal care, of not having proper care and proper nutrition during pregnancy, and as well as that, the women have no money of their own, so when they go into labour, they cannot go to the hospital or to a clinic, so they have no professional help to help them and to foresee that something is wrong, to foresee that this may happen and they may not be able to have a normal delivery. You see, if we have, with antenatal care, we can foresee these things, and therefore we can avoid the problems. So prevention is better, and prevention is cheaper than cure.
We have had to operate almost weekly. We operate every Wednesday and every Thursday, and we run a clinic every Friday. So the prevalence of all the number of cases, we don't know how many we have in the country because these girls are hidden. They just come out whenever we put an announcement. But recently, when they carried out the demographic care survey, they are around 2.63